Welcome to Novelish Universe, where pages come alive and story touch the soul. Step into a realm of sorrow and love and fate, where every word whispers emotion and every moment leaves a mark. Let your imagination soar. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for regular updates on new novels. Today, we begin a powerful journey with the novel Risking My Life, Proposing to Miss Hazel. The story begins now. Chapter 7. Ah. The morning sunlight woke me from a deep sleep. Stretching, I expected my brother to be lying face down on the floor as usual. But, Hazel, if you're awake, let's have breakfast. A sentence that shouldn't have reached my ears floated to me. Am I still dreaming? I thought so and closed my eyes again. The rich smell of bacon wafted gently through the air. The scent of white bread loaded with milk and butter hit my nose. My dream feels too vivid. It's not a dream. I told you I got my act together. I made breakfast with what you like, so eat it before it gets cold. Blinking in confusion, I turned my head toward the voice. Next to the table stood a man with ash-colored hair, wearing an apron and holding a frying pan. I almost asked who he was. What's with that look, like you don't know me? Caught. As my blurred vision cleared, the shape of my one and only brother came into focus. The messy face of my brother, who until yesterday had proud, disheveled hair and a beard, was now clean and neat, just like he looked 7 years ago. Brother, why do you look like that? No wonder I reacted like that. My brother answered calmly, How many times do I have to tell you to believe me? I got my act together. Then why? Why, you ask? Well, it's about time I act like a proper brother now that our little sister is of marrying age. Brother, it's already too late. Potatoes my age were already married. The sudden realization of reality made me feel oddly depressed. Let's just eat. I got up and sat at the table. My brother placed 2 fried eggs, 3 strips of bacon, and a warm piece of white bread on a clean wooden plate. There's no green. Want some? No. Knew it. He smiled and fed me a strip of perfectly crisped bacon. The salty taste spread through my mouth as soon as it touched my tongue. Yes, this is the taste. Memories of the past few days when I only ate tasteless oatmeal made me tear up a little. I devoured the food greedily, then refilled 2 more strips of bacon. Salted meat is always right. Eat a lot, Hazel. From now on, I'll make sure you eat like this every day. How will you manage that? I caught a big client. You're not a scammer, are you? You should think about your own actions before saying that. I'll make it up to you starting today. I won't believe it. Just watch. That's a good mindset. You'll have to do the same when you get a husband. I absent-mindedly said, yeah, and chewed the bacon. I'm confident I can choose a reliable potato to trust as a husband, because the man in front of me is the opposite of my blood relative. He's the right answer. After a full breakfast, I got ready to go to work. My brother stepped out in tidy clothes. He wet his hair and combed it back. His shirt and pants were worn, but neatly ironed. Brother, where are you going? To the shop. I have to work. You? I even prepared holy water early this morning. He raised his thumb and smiled. The dimple hidden under his hair appeared. I'll go ahead and start sorting things. You go to the clothing store, get your dress fitted, and come slowly. I didn't know what to say, so I just stared blankly. He looked at me and, as if to counter my silence, pointed to my cheek. You have egg yolk on your cheek. Oh my goodness, Hazel, you look so elegant in a proper dress. Do you know how much it hurt me to see you wandering around in rags? Mrs. Anna, the owner of the only clothing shop in Luden village, had tears at the edge of her sleeve. She really felt sorry for me. Her daughter, Maribel, clapped her hands excitedly. Hazel, this light sky blue dress was born for you. If you don't buy it, a dress without an owner will get depressed. Maribel, you don't have to compliment me for sales purposes. Sales purposes? I'm being sincere. Not a hint of lies in this. Really? A smile unknowingly appeared on my face. The light sky blue dress had small frills along the sleeves and neckline. The design was a bit plain, but it was a new dress after a long time, so that alone was satisfying. I will take this. How much is it? It should be 8 silvers, but just give me 6.5. I'm not running a business to make money from you, Hazel. No, take all 8. I have the money today. Mrs. Anna and Maribel's eyes went wide at my words. Felix won the money gambling? Didn't steal it from somewhere? I thought so too, but he earned it legitimately. Really? The mother and daughter, who looked exactly alike, had the same expression as I did when I heard that from my brother. People think the same. I took 8 silvers from the pouch my brother gave me and handed them to Mrs. Anna. I felt proud for paying full price for the first time in a while. But unfortunately, my inner peace didn't last long. Hazel! Hazel! Emergency! Sarah came running, opening the shop door roughly. Bang! The 3 people inside the shop widened their eyes. Sarah, pale as a sheet, approached trembling. Felix! Felix! What? What about your brother? He's working without drinking. He earned money and even bought Hazel a dress. He's standing properly at the counter and helping customers? So that's the problem. Unlike me, who felt relieved it wasn't a disaster, Maribel and Mrs. Anna turned serious at Sarah's words. Hazel, is your brother sick? I'll call Dr. Michael. He went to Cromwell Castle on a house call, but he'll be back soon. I tried to stop Mrs. Anna from worrying when Mr. Bill, passing by, peeked into the shop. What's happening? Why do everyone look like that? Felix is working without drinking. He earned money to buy Hazel clothes. What? Felix is working? Earning money to buy Hazel clothes? The shocked villagers stopped what they were doing and crowded in front of the shop. The street became noisy in an instant. Wow, so Felix got his act together? How long will that last? I heard he always says he has to make Hazel rich when he drinks. Guess he was serious. True, even a ruffian has some conscience. He knows he's been making his sister suffer. Maybe he just ate the wrong mushroom. Is he hallucinating? Oh, that makes sense. Soon, the villagers agreed that Felix probably ate a poisonous mushroom. Since he wasn't dead, it wasn't a deadly one, and because he was strong, they joked he'd come out of the hallucination in a week. I took their words to heart and completely lowered my expectations for my brother. Of course, my brother didn't really get his act together. The villagers ended their conversation by saying my new dress looked very nice, then quickly dispersed. Hazel, you'll wear the new dress, right? I will. It feels nice since everyone says it looks pretty. Oh, poor thing. Felix will have to eat poisonous mushrooms more often. No, Mrs. Anna, what are you saying? Chapter 8. When I came out into the street wearing my new clothes, everyone was talking about my brother's poisonous mushroom incident. However, not a single person said they would help find an antidote. Everyone seemed happy that Mr. Felix had regained his senses, even if only intermittently. Before heading to the general store, I stopped by the town hall to pay this month's taxes. Axel glared at me with a displeased look the entire time I was calculating the taxes. Axel's friends, who had been hit by Baron's stones yesterday, stood beside him with their foreheads swollen. All 3 of them had equally sour expressions. Their crumpled faces were quite the sight. 30 silver coins, right? For my share and my brother's? Yes. I handed over the money with a calm face, pretending I knew nothing of last night's events. If they had taken this money from me and I couldn't pay the taxes, something I didn't even want to imagine would have happened. Thinking about that, a chill ran down my neck. Axel stared at me until I turned my back, then grabbed the doorknob and called me back. Miss Hazel. Yes? Why so scary? I turned my head nervously, but Axel's face when I met his gaze again looked much calmer than before. He even seemed a little deflated. He hesitated, muttering, then let out a rough sigh. Never mind. Go on. Yes. No backing down. Thud, thud. Think carefully about that proposal. Yes. Before Axel could stop me, I quickly squeezed through the door. The silver coin pouch under my skirt jingled against my thigh. There are days when you pay taxes and still have money left. The world looked beautiful. When I arrived at the store, my brother was sitting quietly at the counter reading the newspaper. It was real. I had seen him fall asleep with the newspaper before, but never read it. The effects of the poisonous mushroom exceeded expectations. I rubbed my eyes in disbelief. He fixed his gaze on the newspaper and greeted me in a clear, sober voice with no trace of alcohol. Hazel, you're here? Brother, what are you doing? Can't you see? I'm reading the newspaper. You can read? Mr. Felix glared at me with his sharp eyes, but it wasn't scary at all. You tend to underestimate the intelligence of your only brother. Our intellects aren't much different, you know. Brother, why are you talking so well today? He let out a deflated laugh. Oddly, he looked even more bewildered than I did. Hey, I was smart back in school. I was first in our grade. There were only 2 of you in the same grade anyway. Anyway, first is first. He bragged a little, then buried his face back in the newspaper, even making notes with a pen. Anything interesting? Same as always. His answer, as if he read the newspaper every day, felt suspicious. Moreover, his tone was too clear and his eyes too sharp to be hallucinating. I moved closer to check in on him. He seemed to think I was curious about the newspaper and started reciting information I hadn't even asked for. They say the first prince has recaptured the capital. The 4th prince is still fleeing. I see, I replied indifferently. It couldn't be helped. The civil war in the Abraxia Empire had followed a similar pattern for 15 years. 15 years ago, the emperor of the Abraxia Empire died without naming a successor. The problem was that he had 13 sons from 3 empresses. 1 week after the emperor's death, only 3 of the 13 princes survived: the 1st prince, the 4th prince, and the 13th prince. The 13th prince's body was never found, but he was practically considered dead. His whereabouts have been unknown for 15 years. Anyway, the forces of the 1st and 4th princes are strong enough to divide the empire in half, so the civil war shows no signs of ending anytime soon. Yet, no matter how severe the civil war gets, Luden village is always peaceful. Being on the far western edge of the empire, deep in the mountains near the monster territories, the village is ironically the safest. Any other news? Just that the areas occupied by the black magic rebels have changed. With the prolonged civil war and black magic rebels making life harder for the people, life below the mountains is always tense. As I read the article with mixed feelings, my brother muttered indifferently, "Fight hard. Anyway, the emperor will be the 13th. What? What is he talking about? Brother, what did you say? I didn't say anything. You mentioned the 13th. You must have misheard. Impossible. Was that nonsense a side effect of the poisonous mushroom? By the way, what happened to the window? When did it break?" Mr. Felix subtly changed the topic with his usual sharp tongue. Flustered, I rolled my eyes and scrambled for an excuse. It happened while cleaning. Hazel, if you lie, it all shows. Wow, did you do all this by yourself? Ignoring his words, I checked the newly displayed bottles of purified water on the counter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 50. It truly exceeded expectations. My brother, who came to work early in the morning, had neatly portioned the purified water and even labeled them. Doing this alone would have taken at least 3 hours. I was impressed. The effects of the poisonous mushroom were remarkable in many ways. My brother's face immediately lit up at my praise. His sharp nose seemed to rise higher than the sky. I was always smart and good with my hands. You've only been using that talent for drinking until now? Talent is most beautiful when wasted. After saying this nonsense cheerfully, he quietly stood up. Sensing something ominous, I narrowed my eyes. Are you going to waste your talent now? Quite the opposite. What? Hazel, just wait a moment. I'll make you rich. Mr. Felix's confident smile sent a chill down my spine. For the record, I didn't particularly want to be rich. I just dreamed of building a proper 2-story house in the center of the village. Of course, to achieve that modest dream, I'd need to sell about 30,000 bottles of the purified water. I looked at my brother's unusually confident face and pleaded earnestly, "Brother, it's okay if you don't make money, just don't cause trouble." "No, Hazel, just trust me." How could I trust him? Despite my worried gaze, Mr. Felix left the store like the wind. "I'll be back." I anxiously watched where he had disappeared and absent-mindedly picked up the newspaper. A note in red pen that my brother had left caught my eye. Within a week, something will arrive in the West. What? What is this about? A week? West? What does the something say in the middle? His handwriting is so messy I can't read it. I mulled over the cryptic note, then remembered that he had eaten the poisonous mushroom and closed the newspaper. My brother is always impossible to understand. Better not waste energy on strange things. When I turned my head, I saw the neatly arranged bottles of purified water. The counter was spotless, and the wooden floor gleamed as if waxed. It seemed my brother had even cleaned while under the mushroom's effect. Wow, not bad at all. A small smile formed at the corner of my lips. Thanks to my brother, today had been a surprisingly pleasant day. The end. Thank you for wandering through today's tale in the novelish universe. If the story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to join our growing realm of dreamers. Until we meet again, keep your heart open and your mind enchanted.